Hi, it's Robert again, and this is a video on Google Alerts, a hidden jewel in the Google Kingdom. As I mentioned to you in the overview video, Google Alerts is a fantastic free service from Google that allows you to be notified when Google finds a web page containing a specific phrase that you might be interested in. Now, I use this in a couple of different ways. Firstly, to allow me to find web pages that might have some content in relation to a specific keyword that's in my niche or something that I might be interested in. I also use it to track down mentions of certain people or individuals that I might be wishing to stay notified about, and thirdly, I also use it to track the distribution of content that I've created myself using a specific key phrase that I've identified. Okay, let me give you an example. You may have noticed that occasionally I refer to myself as Guru Bob. Aside from this being an perhaps egotistical view of my status in the universe, it's more correctly, I've used this phrase because when before I started to create some content, I found a phrase that was unique in Google that nobody else was using except for me. That way, every time I create content and I specifically incorporate the phrase Guru Bob in that content, and I do a search on that phrase in Google, the websites that come back are likely to be in relation to content that I've created. And indeed, without really any very much effort on my part, Google has found my Guru Bob webpage on my own corporate domain here as the #1 most relevant web page in relation to that phrase, but it's also found my Twitter feed here for those of you that might be interested in following some of my comments. And what it's also found are most of my social bookmarking accounts where I've used the phrase Guru Bob as the username. So this is quite a useful thing. Now, if I know to look, if I'm using a specific phrase and I'm constantly going back to Google and searching for it, well then that's fine. But a lot of the time goes by, and I forget to do that search. But what Google Alerts does is it allows me to receive an email from Google every time it finds a new web page which incorporates this specific phrase. Now, in the case of Guru Bob, it's probably only likely that content relates to something that I've done. But if I was looking for content in relation to a niche keyword like wedding planning checklist, then it might notify me of pages that relate to that. Okay, so how does Google Alerts work? Well, it's very simple. You go to the webpage www.google.com/alerts. Now it says here it's a beta service, but it's been a beta service now for well over a year. I've been using Google Alerts for a long time. And on that web page, you can enter a search term here. You can indicate whether you wish a comprehensive review of pages that contain that search phrase, or whether you only want to see news pages or blogs or web pages or groups that contain that search phrase. How often you want to be notified, so as soon as Google finds it, which is as it happens, or once a day or once a week. I generally have as it happens. And then your email. So let's say, for instance, I want to be notified about websites that contain content on wedding planning. Now notice that if I'm actually interested in a phrase, it's probably best to actually put that phrase in quote marks in Google Alerts. Otherwise you'll get any page which has the word wedding and planning on it, which of course would be thousands and thousands of pages. So I specifically want to know about web pages that have the phrase wedding planning. And then put in your email. In my case, I generally use one of my Gmail accounts, and then click Create Alert. And Google will then advise you that it's sent a verification email to your email address, which you need to click on to verify that you wish to receive those alerts. So if we head on over to Google, to my Gmail account here, we can see that I've already received that confirmation email, which I just need to click on, and now it's telling me all of the phrases that I wish to receive alerts for, and has activated that particular Google alert. Now you'll notice that I'm using a feature of Gmail here, which is turned on via the settings options, which I'm using filters. So all of the Google alerts come from a specific email address inside Google, so I've got a filter set up inside Gmail to automatically label those Google alerts and drop them into an archive for all those emails, so I can move them out of my inbox and just have them accumulate within a particular part of the Gmail service. Makes it easier to see them all in one place. So you can see I've got alerts for a bunch of different things. I always like to keep track of some of the content that Ed produces, but I also like to keep track of people that are mentioning Ed on their own websites, and generally these tend to be blogs and so forth. So you can see here's a blog that mentions Ed, and again here. There's nothing I'm particularly keen on there. So if we look at it here, here we go. So we can see this is one of Ed's posts on the 30-day challenge blog, because Ed Dale is referenced in the blog authorship. Then that comes up in the Google alert. Again, another good 30-day challenge. Here's another mention of that, and another blogger here, Home with Heather, has mentioned Ed on her blog. Now, if I were using this, let's say for instance I was creating some linking content which links back to a website that I want to gain authority for, then by using a specific phrase in relation to that linking content, like if I'm making a blog comment, the name might be some specific phrase which is unique to me and unique to the niche. Or if I'm making a forum post, then I might make sure that my specific phrase is in the signature of the post. Then when Google finds that linking content, I'll be notified via Google Alerts, and it will give me the link to that content, that linking content that it's found. Then I can go across, click on that and go to that page, and then I can social bookmark that page using the social bookmarking services that we've taught you earlier in the 30-day challenge. So this is a way of finding pages that have niche relevant content. It's a way of staying notified on the activities of people or individuals that you want to stay notified about. But it's also a way of establishing when Google finds content of yours that you've created for a specific purpose, and then quickly going to that indexed page and social bookmarking it to increase the distribution of that linking content wider within the social networks on the internet. So it's a fantastic service. I can't recommend it more highly. It allows you to be very efficient about keeping track of certain things and finding web pages that relate to your niche, but also it allows you to very easily observe the distribution of your content as it gets picked up by Google and by other people online. So that's Google Alerts. The web address once again is www.google.com/alerts. I hope you get as much value out of this service as I do. Talk soon.